right, now I need to put my vertices on here, so I look at these numbers, right? What does that 16 mean? 4 sideways. So one vertex is at -2, -1. Another vertex is at 6, -1. Then we have one at 2, 2, and one at 2, -4. How does that look to everybody? Does that look okay?
Yes.
Now, this is my major axis, right? How long is it? 8. This one is my minor axis, it is 6. My foci are on the major axis, so I just need to figure out how far left and right I'm going to move to plot those points. So I'll look at my equation. How far is it from the center to the focus? √7. 16 minus 9, √7. So I'm going to start here at the center. 2 plus √7, comma -1, and 2 minus √7, comma -1. That means that my eccentricity then will be that distance divided by this distance, which is 4. Anybody have any question about that? Okay. We didn't get perfect paper. Do we figure out why? Have we figured out why we didn't get perfect paper?
The eccentricity is focus, the length of focus, and then divided by
The distance from the center to the focus divided by center to vertex. Okay. Well, okay. Now, I'm going to go backwards now and give you some information, and you're going to write the equation of the ellipse. Okay, so here's how this is going to work. Suppose I told you I had an ellipse and here were his vertices. Could you write the equation of the ellipse? This is another problem. I'm just going to go ahead and put another one up there right here. This is our first problem right here. We're going to write the equation of the ellipse given those vertices. Well, you know I like to draw everything, so I'm going to go ahead and draw a picture of this. And I'm going to remember that the equation of an ellipse is this. I'm going to see if I can fill in blanks now. Any thoughts?
you can
Madeline?
put it in there.
So there's 3, 1, or 3 negative.
Would you agree, Madeline, that if I draw on my 2 axes here, the center would be right there where they intersect?
Yeah.
So what point is that?
-1, 3.
-1, 2? Remember, you can always use graph paper if you think it might help you. So we'll have x plus 1, y minus 2. Everybody okay with that? Now I need to fill in my denominators. How far sideways am I going? I'm not going 4. How far sideways am I going? Come on now.
3.
I'm going 3 sideways, which means underneath X will be 9. How far up and down am I going? 2, which means underneath Y will be 4, and we're done. What's going on here? Well, these are the endpoints of the major axis. So these would be vertices. The endpoints of the major axis. So whatever my ellipse looks like, it looks like this. Again, my goal is this equation. Does just that much information tell me anything?
I mean, the center.
The center won't, if I know that those are the endpoints of the major axis, won't the center just be the midpoint?
That'd also be a thing.
So what's the midpoint of that? 3, -1. So I have x minus 3y plus 1. Okay, we got that. Furthermore, what's that distance? 4, which means what in my equation? Under x, there's a 16. How do I know to put it under x? Because going sideways. Now, this other piece of information said my focus, here's my major axis, my focus is at 3 plus root 7 comma -1, which means this distance is root 7.
So it's 6.
Just the other one 9.
The square
So
root
this
is
number right here has to be 9. Now, how do we know that has to be 9? We're thinking backwards. We know that if we subtract these, we have to get 7. If you subtract your denominators and take your square root, you get that number right there. So working backwards, this has to be a 9, so that when I do the subtraction, I get the root 7. Right? Now let's try one more. This time, the endpoints of the minor axis and the foci. Okay, this is an ellipse. We're shooting for this equation. Let's see what we got. Now those are the endpoints of the minor axis. So whatever this thing looks like this. Would you agree with me? Stretch this way. This is my minor axis. But it doesn't really matter that it's the minor axis. Isn't the midpoint still going to be the center? So what is that midpoint?
2.8.
Negative 2.8?
Awesome. That's the minor axis.
And
Major axis.
how far is it from the center to the end point here? 4, which tells me what? 16 under here? Oh, no, 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 no. Not under there. Under here, right?
Goodness gracious.
Now my foci are at negative 2, 8 plus and minus 2 root 5. And now what does that do for me? That tells me this distance right here is the square root of 20. 2 root 5. Which means when I subtract these two numbers, I have to get 20. So it's 36. Because when you subtract your big denominator minus your little denominator, you have to get root 20. And take the square root, you have to get root 20. My y denominator is my big one. So that one minus 16 has to be 20. Okay? All right. One quick review problem. And then I'm going to set you loose. I'm still not feeling real great, so I'm going to set you loose on some stuff. I save my voice. Okay, little review here. What is this? That's a parabola. So let's get it in standard form and then find all the stuff we can find for a parabola. So how would you suggest we get this in standard form? Multiply by 4. And subtract 16. And
Complete the square.
And how do I complete the square?
6 squared. 36.
Half of 12 is 6. Squared is 36. So you add that to both sides. Everybody keeping up? This is from a few days ago. So over here, let's see, 4x plus 20. So I'll pull that 4 out. Okay, is everybody all right with that equation? All right, so here we go. Where's my vertex? Negative 5, 6. Very good. Which way do I open? It's a y squared. Boys and girls, remember your basic family of functions. Y equals x squared. That's up. This is not x squared. It can't be up. this is your axis of symmetry then. What is its equation? Oh, what is its equation? Y equals 6. Here is your focus. In order to plot that point, you need to know this distance.
4P.
In every parabola, if you put it in this form, this guy right here, this number right here is 4p. So for us, p is 1. This distance is p. It's 1, so the focus is at -4,6. And the directrix is backwards 1. It would be at x equals -6. Here's your latus rectum. How long is it? This is the length of the latus rectum also. So if the whole thing is 4, you're going to start here and go up and down 2. So up 2 would put us at -4, 8, and down 2 would put us at -4, 4. One thing we didn't talk about before, I'm going to throw it in now, another new piece of information. The eccentricity of this and all parabolas is 1. The eccentricity of this parabola and all parabolas is 1. So now we've talked about eccentricity for ellipses, and it was a fraction, less than 1. For parabola, it's equal to 1, and tomorrow we'll talk about the hyperbola. Okay, you've got some homework problems to do. You can go ahead and get started. Would someone turn the video off over there? Again, if you are hungry, please help yourself. There's treats over there. You can open those boxes and things.